What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Craig. We're going to be going over the charts, but before we do, as you guys know, today is the Fed rate cut decision. Obviously, they're probably looking like they're going to do it, but either way, what happens in these markets is they make the decision, the market shoots up one way, and then it quickly reverses. That's what's happened the last few times. Is it guaranteed to happen? No, it's not a guarantee, but could be a good thing to watch for and play. So let's say it shoots straight up, the markets all start to rally for 5 minutes straight up. Chances are it's going to reverse and just squash it all. Could be a good trade opportunity, and vice versa. If it shoots straight down after the decision is announced, then could be a good spot to put in a scalp long. But just be careful if you are going to trade like that. But let's take a look at the longer term and the 4-hour Bitcoin chart that we've been watching, and I'm going to show you, like on the thumbnail of this video, why we will either be going to 80 or 120 next, and what to watch for and how to know it'll get there. If you guys are interested in seeing smaller time frames, let me know in the comments below, and maybe we can start looking at the hour and the 15-minute trades, because I know a lot of people like to more or less day trade. I'm not so much into that, but we can take a look at the smaller time frame charts if you guys would like to. So anyways, make sure you guys smash a thumbs up. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. So we have this, the thicker white trend line is like our long macro trend line, right off of the wicks there. That high gets us to around 114.9, right? If that blows above that, then we're most likely headed to that 120, 125, somewhere in that range. I'll give you the more detailed targets. But remember, our main support right now, that if this is broken, and we can move this over a little bit, is around that 91. And I showed you guys before this broke, we talked about this. You can watch yesterday's video where I pulled up a month ago's video showing you guys all of this way before it played out. So looking at the 91.4, 91.5 range as major support, and that's our trend line off of these two highs, right? The 64 and 69 highs. So if we do break below that and that becomes resistance, guys, we got quite a bit further to go, but we're going to take it piecemeal, right? Now we'll go into the 4-hour chart, and then I'll take a look at a big chart at the end showing you some major divergence, and I want to know what you think of it. But first, if you guys are interested in trading, definitely check out Prime XBT. Links down below. You get up to a $7,000 bonus and a 25% off your trading fees by using my link below. Also, if you guys do not use a VPN or KYC, you can use BitUnix. And right now they have a trade contest going on for the next month. You can win a Tesla, an actual Tesla, and a whole bunch of other good prizes. I also have my link down below. You get plenty of deposit bonuses on there too, up to $5,000, but it'll explain how you do that. Definitely check them out. Get into the contest if you haven't. And yeah, if you guys are into the trading thing, if not, I suggest if you don't know how to trade, not to do it. But all right, so I have this in the 15-minute. Let's go into the 4-hour. So this is what we were talking about yesterday and today. So we are right in a range, kind of to wait for a Fed decision, right? We always see that stuff. We're right in between the EMAs, right? We got the 8, 21, and 55 EMA over us and the 55 below us. If we break the 55, we're looking for the 200 EMA on the 4-hour. So we talked about this yesterday. I said watch for a rejection at the top of this trend line, which we got rejected. Now we're headed back down. Now let's look at our breakout targets for this broadening wedge, right? This looks like a B, C, D, E, right? Being the end result. And I like this wedge because we have alternating touches, top, bottom, top, right? So if we break the top now, we had a measured move of that top break. Again, guys, remember 112 is, so watch for a wick up to that 112 before coming back down. That could be a fake out at that point, because that 112, remember, is our 1.272 fib, which we'll take a look at in the next chart. But all right, let's take a look here. So let's say we break out. Now this is going to change that top target because obviously we have two ascending lines, right? So let's say we break out up here. That'll get us to one. Move this over. So let's say we break this. Now we're going to have to move this up, right? 108. But remember, be careful for a fake out at that 112.6. I'll show you why here in a minute. But so if we do get a breakout and support on this trend line, we could be hitting that 123 range. Now, again, here is our support on the bottom, which this will probably roll over this 200 EMA right here and be around there. So that would be a spot to look for support. If this bottom trend line breaks, it'll probably come back, test it for resistance. If it does get rejected, that's where we get that 79 to 80, right? Possibly lower. So remember, if this takes longer to break, let's say it takes all the way till the end of this month, right? It just bounces around there till the end of this month. Then it gets a little bit lower, around the 78 range, but we'll keep an eye on that. Does that mean that that's the bottom and it continues up? No, that's a bounce point, right? Just like this would be a rejection point up here. If you guys are trading this, let me know what your thoughts are and where you're headed with it. But let's get into the daily. So this is looking at the macro, showing this as finished, right? Obviously, the fifth wave could still get up to that 120 range. But is this what we're looking at? A big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this being a 1, and we'll get our big downside here. Or are we in the middle of 3, right? And that would be getting us to that 127.7, the 1.618. This is what we talked about for quite a while now. If that is the case, right, and this 1.272 holds at the 103.6, our next big move would be that 127. So that kind of goes with the last thing I was just showing you, but obviously you would want to be taking profits on the way up here. And then we would look for a wave 4 down, which could be anywhere between 64 and 79, right? And then one big, huge push up to that 155 area, which would technically, if it's a 4-year cycle like everybody thinks, this should happen by the end of 2025, right? So this would actually be a lot more scrunched up, something like this. Technically, if it was going to play out like the bull market 4-year cycle is supposed to play out. But again, I doubt that's what this is, but I do want to show the possibility because it is a possibility, right? That this is a big 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But let's look at this divergence. You can see this bearish divergence we had over here at the 64 and 65K range. And down on the RSI, we had lower highs. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the RSI. And we can see what happened after that. Same thing we're getting right here. We have lower highs in the RSI, higher highs in the price action. Not confirmed yet because this is a weekly chart. It would probably take a week or two to confirm a top. But if we did and this started turning around, that could have been the top. Again, we could get a little bit higher before the top is confirmed, but just something for you guys to look at and be careful. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up, leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your plans are here. What are you doing? What do you believe this biggest bubble in history in all markets is going to continue? Do you think it's coming to an abrupt end? Or do you think it's got another year or so to bubble up? Either way, I will not touch, I'm not putting big capital into anything in these markets because I do believe the drop that's coming is huge. And let's talk about what that would look like in the Dow. So we're looking at this as a possible fifth wave ending diagonal in the Dow Jones on the weekly, right? And these are when the Feds first started cutting rates right before these big drops here. So this was in the 2000 when they had the dot-com bubble, which this bubble I think is an everything bubble. And here's when we had the housing bubble, right? And I've put them on. If this is the top over here, I've just kind of to give us an estimated view. So if it was to happen like the great financial crisis, the housing bubble, that would get us down to about 20,800 for the Dow. And if it was more like the dot-com bubble, that would get us right around 27,000. Either way, this is going to be a huge drop. If I'm correct, and I'll show you another chart here in a minute, but if I am correct, this could get extremely ugly. Now, for shits and giggles, let's see what it would look like if it did what the Great Depression did, and that was a 95% drop. I think it was. Maybe it was 85. Let's just do 85. Be around 6,500. I do think we're going to see something like that. Could that extreme? Maybe not, but be careful, guys. Also, looking at the Dow Jones 1929, actually, right here, I'll tell you, it was an 89% correction. So if we did the same thing again here, that would get us down to approximately 4,700. Could it happen? It's definitely a possibility. And if you're sitting there saying it's impossible, be careful. That's all I got to say. And this basically, guys, is what I'm waiting for. Even if it takes another year, 2 years, 3 years, I don't care, because this is a buy opportunity. Now, what else I want to talk about is people say stay out of the dollar because the dollar is dying. I don't truly believe that the dollar is going to die. I believe that is a huge theory about the new system, blah, blah, blah. I do believe that the dollar will continue. Maybe it'll become a digital dollar, but it's still going to work like the dollar, right? They're still going to have control over it because they don't want to give up that control. So, anyways, by being in the dollar and waiting, if this does happen, do you realize how much stock and how much everything, Bitcoin, crypto, whatever, after this crash, how much you'll be able to buy with the dollar? Because say you have $100,000, right? Right now, you could buy one Bitcoin, right? But after this crash, and people think that the Bitcoin is going to hold up if this does happen. I do not think it's going to hold up if we have this big crash. Reason being, people need money when the markets crash. People start reaching for everything. You got people like Michael Saylor, way over leveraged. I mean, look up his history, guys. Look up his history. MicroStrategies, it's going to get ugly. It is going to get ugly, and if you don't believe that, maybe you should look a little harder outside of hopium. Anyways, again, guys, I do hope each and every one of you do well in what's coming in these markets, because nobody knows for sure what it is, but make a plan, stick with it, be safe. If you're trading, make sure you use stops, and I will catch you in the next video.